come down to Ahava to protest against the colonization of Palestinian land. Ahava is actually Hebrew for love, but in my opinion and in the opinion of many conscientious people, there is nothing loving, there is nothing humane, there is nothing just or noble about profiting from the colonization of Palestinian land and the subjugation and exploitation of the Palestinian labor. Ahava claims that its products are made in Israel. If you look at its products, they write made in Israel, but they're actually made in illegal settlements in Mitzpe Shalem in the West Bank. And so we're here to raise awareness about this facilitation of war crimes and to hopefully continue to push the struggle forward.
So Ahava pays taxes in Israel, not Palestine, where it's based.
Indeed. So what that means is that whilst the Israeli economy continues to prosper, the Palestinian one continues to dwindle. More than that, Ahava actually get tax breaks. Because of the EU-Israel trade agreement, Ahava get favourable trading rights. So what this means is that not only are they facilitating war crimes, not only are they making lives more miserable for the Palestinian indigenous population, but they're also taking advantage of an EU treaty that allows them to do this under all of our noses and under the umbrella of the United Nations and the EU, which makes it doubly or triply as important for us to be here today protesting.
I'm a member of Palestine Solidarity Campaign and a frequent visitor to Palestine.
Yeah.
So I have friends where I've experienced the occupation myself. I've seen the way the soldiers treat the people. I've seen the way the settlers treat the people. And I have many friends there. And Ahava is a business which uses land stolen from the Palestinian nation in order to sell its products here and across the world. So as the slogan says, it's stolen products of a stolen land, and we're here to get as much publicity as we can to show that there are people in this country that care about the plight of the Palestinians and want justice.
And, a lot of protesters here today have been calling for Israel just to follow international law. Which international laws are they in breach of?
Well, I mean, Israel has broken more UN resolutions than any other state in the world, yet it continues to receive, for example, $3 billion a year of funding from the US. It continues to get hospitality that isn't afforded to any other world leader from Britain and from many leaders in the West. Israel has built an illegal apartheid wall. This was deemed illegal by the International Court of Justice in The Hague. Israel continues to violate all sorts of other laws. For example, laws are not allowing Palestinians access to certain roads, such as Shuhada Street. This used to be one of the most economically vibrant and prosperous roads for the Palestinians, but now they're banned from going there. And there's a word when one group of people are allowed to go into a road and another group of people are not allowed to go into a road, and that word is apartheid. And that's exactly what we're saying in Israel-Palestine at the moment, and that's exactly what we must continue to fight against.
And apartheid's illegal.
Apartheid is illegal, and as we saw, Britain was one of the countries where the student movement, where grassroots organisations such as ours fought and mobilised and did everything they could to raise awareness about apartheid and eventually bring it to an end, culminating in the first democratic elections and the election of President Nelson Mandela. That's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to end apartheid. We're trying to end a policy of discrimination on no basis other than race and ethnicity.
So Palestinians in the West Bank, it's occupied by Israel. What sort of treatment do they face from the Israeli army?
Well, I've stood at checkpoints for hours and seen the way they're treated by young adolescent soldiers, old men forced to strip naked in front of their children, women forced to give birth in front of giggling adolescents, young children separated from their parents. I saw that at Kaliya, 3 little kids that big who were stuck between 2 gates at Kaliya, separated from their parents.
Yeah.
The brutality of the Israelis is beyond comprehension, and their young men and women are taught to be brutal in the army.
Okay, and quite often these checkpoints are in between, say, their homes and their schools,
yes,
or hospitals.
Yes, and between them and their mosques, and they can't visit relatives, they can't get to shops.
And that's in their own country,
yes,
Palestine.
Yes,
yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
Children, Palestinian children, little girls and boys, trying to get to school and having stones thrown at them by Israeli settler children, while the army stand by and does nothing. Now, if a Palestinian kid throws a stone, he is beaten up, kidnapped and he goes to prison for 3 months or 6 months. I've seen that too.
Yeah.
So Israeli children are allowed to throw stones, Palestinian children aren't.
Yeah.
They're abused.
I'm Secretary of Jews for Boycotting Israeli Goods, which is a group of British Jews who believe that the situation in Israel and Palestine is so desperate that we have to support the Palestinian call for boycott, divestments and sanctions, and that's what we do.
And why don't the Jews for boycotting Israeli goods like the Ahava company? Why is that?
Ahava is a very good example of the sort of situation that we're dealing with. It's a company which markets beautiful Dead Sea products for beauty, skincare, that sort of thing. Unfortunately, they operate out of an illegal settlement in the occupied West Bank. They have absolutely no right to be trading those goods into the European market at all, as far as we can see. And yet here they are in Covent Garden, very high profile, tourist area, giving a glossy, beautiful face to the Israeli occupation, and anything like that.
Yeah.
And in fact, their goods, as far as we're concerned, they should be banned because the settlements are illegal. The Foreign Office acknowledges that they're illegal. Not only they're illegal, they're an obstacle to peace. Why on earth do we allow goods from those illegal settlements to be marketed in our country?
And Ahava, whilst it's based in the occupied West Bank, pays tax in Israel.
Oh yeah, it's
not
an Israeli
Palestine.
company. It's an Israeli company.
So they don't contribute to the life of Palestine by paying tax there.
No, I mean, to be honest, I'm not sure which part of the West Bank they're in, but you know, large areas of the West Bank are under Israeli control anyway. The Palestinians have no jurisdiction.
Right.
I think this may be one of those. I'm not sure. It's a settlement called Mitzpe Shalem, which our Zionist friends over there like to claim is a kibbutz, an idealistic community of like-minded Jews with the sort of the Holy Land in their sights, and it's all, I don't know. It's amazing how people can deceive themselves with all this mythology while dispossessing another people and ignoring their rights. And it's been going on for decades now. It's not just since the occupation, it goes back way before that.
Yeah.
And as a Jew, people make fun of us for saying as a Jew this, as a Jew that, but it's important for me, because I am Jewish, I have to take a position on this, because I'm assumed to support Israel if I don't, to make my views clear.
Absolutely.
So, anyway, that's
And have you been to the West Bank and
yes.
have you witnessed some of the treatment of Palestinians by?
Well, you can't avoid it.
And what sort of things have you seen there?
It just the main thing that you see as a visitor is the limitation on movement, the restriction on movement, the fact that Palestinians cannot use certain roads, they cannot access certain areas. We met people who were married to someone from the wrong bit of the territories and therefore could not live together, because if one of them were to move away from Jerusalem, for example, they would lose their rights to live there forever. And then there's the checkpoints and the wall and the horror of the way that people are prevented from simply going about their work, having an education, getting to hospital.
So what's the difference between that and say the apartheid state of South Africa?
That's a very interesting question. It's interesting that the Israeli word that they use to describe the wall, which I don't know to somebody who speaks Hebrew, actually means apartheid. That's what it means. Separateness. That's what apartheid means. So separation, the separation wall, means apartheid. So in terms of the description of an attempt to divide two peoples, that's definitely what it is. The way it's done in Israel, in many respects, far worse, and this has been attested to by blacks from South Africa who visited there, including Desmond Tutu. Far worse than what happened. And the reason for that is the Israeli aim is not to exploit the Palestinian population economically and profit from their presence, it's to exclude them and get rid of them. They want the land, not the people. That has been the stated aim of Zion